In this video, I'm going to show you 10 simple steps to get clients for real estate photography. I've shot literally many thousands of homes for hundreds of clients for many years. I know what works, I know what doesn't, so let's start with step number 1. The first step is to resolve a mistake that most new real estate photographers make, and that's that you do not want to immediately go out and start contacting real estate agents and asking them to hire you. That is one of the biggest mistakes. We're going to get to that here shortly, but the first thing you should do is start looking at who you're competing against. So instead of doing market research on potential clients in your area, because there will be real estate agents, you want to start your research on your competition. It's a real easy thing to do. Just open up Zillow or some other listing site, look for houses that have recently sold in your area or that are for sale right now. You'll see what photographers in your area are doing to supply real estate photos, and also you'll see some of the current expectations of real estate photography clients that eventually you'll want to target. And that leads up to step number 2, and that's that you have to set yourself a benchmark of being within the top 20% of that quality level of the photographers that you're finding as being your competitors in the area. You need to be able to give realtors that you're eventually going to reach out to a reason to hire you. If your photos fall below the 20% in the top, then there's nothing about you that stands out. You don't want to compete for price. We're going to get to that here shortly because, believe it or not, you're actually going to be charging more when you first start out, and there's a good reason for that. But first, you need to get in that top 20%. Try to get as high as you can so that you have the best quality photos. Now, I know it's a chicken and egg paradox. You need to have gigs to be able to have photos. That's wrong. All you need to do is start practicing at home. Also practice on friends' houses. We're going to get to some slow start stuff also where you eventually will get a few gigs to start building your portfolio. But the third thing is really important. Step number 3 is that you need to change your mindset. Now, this is an easy thing to do. It takes very little effort, but you have to remember this one single principle that will change your mindset and how you go forward to get clients, and that you want to favor clients more than gigs. So we all think about going and getting gigs. We want to get hired. We want money in our pocket. But when it comes to real estate photography, it's very different from other genres of photography, like for instance, weddings, where you're after gig after gig after gig. But with real estate photography, it's repeat business. If you get clients, and also the right clients, you're going to have a continual flow of work because they will have many properties that they will have you shoot throughout the year. So remember, change your mindset. You want to find clients, really good clients, more than you want to just start getting gigs. And this is vital. This is a crucial point, and it really is a turning point when you're thinking about getting clients for real estate photography. And that's why I really emphasize this in my course on business and marketing for real estate photography. I have a link to that course down in the description of this video, and I've got courses, as you may know, that cover a wide range of real estate photography and videography, and I also have books on real estate photography as well. Links to all that down in the description of this video, as well as other links to other videos here on my YouTube channel that can help you get started, improve, and also get clients. But the important point here is that once you start changing your mindset to getting clients over gigs, you'll see the whole picture change, especially as we go forward into the next step. And in step number 4, that's when we're going to start addressing clients, but we're going to do it in a slow start approach, and that's your best bet to be able to slowly ramp up into this work. So the first thing is a concept known as the 6 degrees of separation approach. And through 6 degrees of separation, either you or someone you know is connected to a realtor through some type of 6 steps of separation. So someone very close to you is a realtor. And usually if you go after someone you know or someone who can refer you to someone that they know, then they're going to be a lot more forgiving with your work when you first start out. Also, things may take you a lot longer. Your quality may be lower. You will get nervous on site the first few houses that you do shoot. That's to be expected. So when you first find someone through this 6 degrees of separation, and only 1 or 2, slowly ramp up, learn from your mistakes, and then you can go into the next approach, which is called the local lure. It's a name that I came up with a long time ago, where what you do is you find one realtor in your neighborhood, someone who has a for sale sign for a property in your area, sells in your area, and that's going to be able to get you gigs in that area. What you do with that local lure is you do research on that realtor. You see if they actually are a good client, because remember, We're going after clients more than gigs. If this is a client who does sell a lot of properties, then you can send them a very nice email. Make it personalized. Don't make it spammy. Put in the subject line that, regarding their property at such and such address. Let them know that you live very close to that address. You're also a real estate photographer and you would be willing to work them a deal for their first shoot. Now, this isn't something that you do for every realtor because, as we're going to get to here shortly, your prices should be high. You do not want to discount and just be a lower price photographer. You want to be able to charge enough to make a good living. But when you're talking about a local lure, a one-time discount of 20%, 50%, whatever it is, never free, by the way, is that you get a chance to work with them, to lure them in, give them a taste of your work because it's worth it to you, more importantly, just to them, but it's important to you that you get to do this to someone who sells locally. It's going to be then a low-cost effort for you to do continual work for them. After that, after doing some 6 degrees of separation, local lure, whatever it is, once you get some listings out there that you've actually shot for realtors, word will spread automatically. And this is an advantage of doing real estate photography, is that every shoot that you do for a listing will be seen by every realtor in the area. It's free advertising because once a listing goes live, it's going to be on the multiple listing service or whatever listing service you have in your country. And that's going to then be populated on Zillow.com, Realtor.com, but these other agents that didn't hire you to do the photos, they're going to be representing then potential buyers. And so if your photos do stand out and they're in that 20% quality level that we talked about earlier or even higher, then they're going to ask that listing agent who hired you, hey, who was your photographer? Instantaneously, you get a referral. And once again, that was free advertisement. It didn't require you to go out and do a big marketing campaign. You just had to be really, really good and also find the right clients. The next step is to make yourself a free Google business page. Now, there's no sense in paying for Google ads, Facebook ads, all this type of stuff. It really is unnecessary. What you want to do is have that free Google page because that Google business listing means that when people do search for you or other photographers in the area, you'll come up. Without it, you won't come up at all. You think about having a photography website, and that's good, and you do need to have that, but no matter how much SEO you've put into your photography website, it's going to be nothing compared to having a Google listing. Now, one of the things that helps with SEO is to have multiple connections to a particular URL that you want to show up high within search listings. An easy way to do that is with having a free Google business page that will link to your website. And any other links that you have will once again go back to your website. So get it, it's free, costs nothing, helps you then when people are doing searches. And the next step is to make sure that you have an Instagram page that is completely dedicated to what you do as photography. You don't want to show that you're also a nature photographer, a portrait photographer. You like to do photography as just a hobby. And also, here's pictures of my grandkids. That stuff is all important. It's stuff that I do and that I love, but my Instagram page is dedicated to what I do for real estate photography. The same goes for your website. You don't want to have a highly diversified web page where people are like, well, yeah, they do some real estate photography, but I want someone who specializes in this. It's the same if you were going to have heart surgery. Would you just go to a general practitioner? No, you want a specialist that's going to do this work. So make sure that your Instagram page is live and shows only the work that you do in real estate photography, which can also mimic one-to-one, actually, your real estate photography website. And once again, this helps to build that SEO between having an Instagram page, having a real website, and then also that free Google business listing, all of them linked together in what they call the viral loop. The next step, and this is so often overlooked, is that besides specializing in real estate photography, you do need to become eventually a full service provider. When realtors hire a real estate photographer, they will also want to be able to have the option, at least at some point in the future, to have someone who can do property videos, who can do drone, who can do virtual tours, all that type of stuff. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have to do all that work yourself. You can partner with other local photographers that you trust and work with. I do that, for instance, for my drone work. I don't have the time to go out and do also drone photography for all my listings. So my backup photographer Karsten, he is the guy that also does all my drone work. I just have him do all my drone work. Makes it a lot easier. And also he's backup in case I need someone to fill in. Something to think about in the future that yes, you do want to partner with other people local in your area and you can help them and they can help you. You can fill in the blanks, but more importantly here for this step is that you become a full service media provider. Moving on to step number 9, this is critical and this is when it comes to pricing. One of the biggest mistakes besides what we talked about first of just going out and contacting realtors is that too many real estate photographers undersell themselves and charge too low. That's a trap you don't want to fall into, and it really does coincide quite a bit with that first step that we talked about where you want to do your research first. And yes, you can find out to some degree what real estate photographers are charging for in your area, but you want to be higher. You know, you'll get feedback when you start talking eventually to these real estate agents and other potential clients. They'll go, oh, well, you're a lot more expensive. Then you can ask them, well, what is so-and-so charging? Here's an example of how to handle this. Let's say that your competition is charging $150 for a 25-shot shoot. Well, you should charge probably $250. Now, that may seem quite a bit compared to your competition, but it's not. For instance, in my area here in Southern California, it's quite common for some real estate photographers to do okay work, run and gun, some of these photo mills, maybe to charge $250. Well, I don't mind charging $400 or $500 for the shoot. And why? It's because of what's known as the pricing bias. People will like a bottle of wine more if it costs more. Doesn't mean that it was better. It means that they think it's better. But more importantly, the inverse is true, is if something is priced low, the expectations are low. But so if you're wanting to get in that 20%, that top 20%, the top 10%, 5%, or the best real estate photographer in your area, you need to have prices that coincide with that. If you get caught up in this idea of a race to the bottom in pricing, all that's going to happen is you're going to get a reputation of being the cheap photographer. Real estate agents will just think that, yeah, if I really need something, maybe I'll call them to go do my work for me. But no, you want to be able to be the top. You want to show that you're at the top, and that also is reflected in your pricing. Stand by your pricing, and if you're questioned about it, say, well, I do provide a very good quality product. I think you'd be very happy, and I think it will really help you market your property. And step number 10, this is something too that people put the cart before the horse. They'll do it too early, and that's when you actually give some presentations. After you've started working for a few clients and you're starting to get good, you feel comfortable with it, and your clients, more importantly, are also happy with your work, approach them and let them know that you wouldn't mind giving a presentation to their office. And the reason being is that most brokerages, real estate outfits, they'll have monthly meetings and they need content. They need to have people come in and discuss something that's relative to their industry. So if you have something about, not necessarily hire me, I'm a real estate photographer, but if you were to give a presentation on a topic, for instance, of how to best prepare for a photo shoot, or how photos can help sell your house the best, or maybe some of the best compositions for real estate photography, whatever it is that you think would benefit them, that if you were to put yourself in their shoes, what would make you want to go listen to someone else discuss? You're trying to sell real estate, so something you can give as a presentation, no matter what it is, gets your foot in the door, because it's not the presentation necessarily is going to sell you to them. That's the wrong idea. So it can be any topic. The idea is that you'll get your card in front of them, you'll get a handshake, you'll get to see them face to face, and you'll do actual in-person networking. This goes miles and miles to help get clients and also keep clients. But when these steps are done, that's just the beginning. That's just how you start getting clients for real estate. As you progress, there are other markets that you can diverge into. There's a lot in real estate photography besides just the listing market. There's also different architectural photography type of genres for builders, designers, all that for remodel companies. And then you also have, besides that, commercial real estate photography and sometimes luxury real estate photography that falls somewhat outside of the standard listing market. Once you get these 10 steps down though, and you start building your business, then it's time to start looking at expanding. And I've got videos on my YouTube channel for that, and I'll have links to those down in the description of this video.